So you've been working on a goal. Things started off great, but now you've gotten to a point where you just feel like there's absolutely no way to achieve your goal. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, what I want to describe to you today is something called the Valley of Despair. And the Valley of the Despair is that exact point where you need to continue to push through to ultimately achieve your goals. And the only way to get through it is to not go around it. You got to go through it. That plus more and the 5 ways and 5 stages of goal achievement coming up next on the Running Real Estate Podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Haley, and welcome back to the Running Real Estate Podcast. Today, I wanted to take a couple minutes to go through a topic that I've been thinking a lot about lately. And this is designed and intended for not just fellow real estate agents or my team of real estate agents, but also my clients and my friends and anybody who is somebody who wants to achieve something new or maybe achieve a goal. This could be a health journey that you're getting ready to go on. This could be maybe running a marathon or getting into shape, or this could be what we're seeing right now in business planning season. In the business world and or the real estate world, as a team leader and with running a real estate company, we get to October every year, and this is when we start to think about what is our next year going to look like? How do we want to grow? Right? I've always been somebody that is very keen on personal growth. And in doing that, we set goals for ourselves. We set achievements that we want to get after and actually make a reality for our future. And in fact, my wife and I, last week, we did something that we typically do every year. We go away for about a week. This year it was 5 days, and we go to one of our favorite spots, and we start to vision. We start to think about what the future could look like. And it starts with that vision, but then ultimately, a vision could just fall apart if you do not have a plan to actually achieve that vision. And that's where goal achievement comes into play. And I was listening to a podcast not too long ago, and I thought I would share with you a concept that really made sense to me. This is something I've talked about in the past with our team, and I wanted to share it with you. And I'm not going to speak of it necessarily in business terms. I'm going to speak of it more in the running world. So many of you know that I've been on this kick of running for a number of years. I've got a streak going on right now where since COVID began, I've run every single day since that happened. So it was like March 14th of 2020. I have not missed a day since then, knock on wood. Fortunately, I've been able to do that. So I'm like at 1,665 days or 66 days as of today. But in that period of time, not only have I run every day, but I've also got into marathon running. And for me to achieve and be able to run a marathon, I've had to break it down, reverse engineer it, and set the goal first and then break it into steps and milestones. But I wanted to share with you what typically happens with most folks once they've set a goal for themselves. And there's 5 stages that all people go through in this process. And the first one, stage 1, is called Uninformed Optimism. And in Uninformed Optimism, at this stage, you're excited. You're focused on the benefits of achieving your goal, but you don't fully realize the costs yet. Enthusiasm and optimism drive you. And so this would be like if you're going to run a marathon, the uninformed optimism stage, you might actually go to Pinterest and you will look for a marathon training plan. And you'll print that out. You'll get your goal board and you'll have it up on the wall. You'll think about the shoes that you're going to wear. What's the outfit that you're going to wear? Gels, like what special gels can you buy that are going to give you energy through this process? So it's really kind of like you're not 100% sure what it's like to run it, but you're going through and investigating the process. And that's typically the initial stage. Stage 2, informed pessimism. As you move forward, you start noticing the costs and challenges. Doubts may start to arise. Negativity can set in as you question whether the effort is worth it. And so in this case, you've got all this great stuff. You've got your shoes, you've got your clothes, and you go out for that first run. And maybe on day 1, you hit a mile and you think, yeah, that went pretty well. Day 2, you go for 2 miles. And then you have to hit your first long run, and it's a 5-mile run. And if you have not been running consistently, you get out there and you get to mile 3 and you start hitting a wall. And you're thinking to yourself, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But you muster up enough energy to get you through that 5-mile first run. But when you're done, you start to think to yourself, man, 5 miles, I did it, but can I really do 26 miles? And doubt starts to set in, and you're not sure it's going to happen. Then you go into the most difficult phase, and this is stage 3. This is what I started off the intro with, and that is the valley of despair. This is the lowest point in your journey. The work feels overwhelming, and quitting seems easy at this point. However, if you quit, you'll likely start another goal and go through the same process. The key is to push through this stage. And this is where so many people get hung up. I see it in real estate. I see it in general business. I see it in your health journey. And I see it definitely in marathon running. And what I can equate it to is typically like week 7. So for real estate agents, it's very common. They get out of the gate strong. They're going to get after it. They're going to sell a lot of homes. They got this new plan, but they get to week 7 and then they just hit a wall. And instead of pushing through, most people at this point give up and go back to stage 1, which is uninformed optimism, where they start to think of a new plan, a new goal, a new business way of doing things, as opposed to sticking with that original goal that they had. And this is where, I mentioned it before, it's so key. There's no getting around the valley of despair. You can't take a shortcut. You can't try to go around it. The only way to conquer it is to go through it, to push through the suck, to push through the hard. And then once you actually go through that hard, you start to realize and you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is where we enter stage 4, informed optimism. At this stage, progress becomes more visible, and the benefits come back into focus. Celebrating small wins is important as they sustain you on the way to success. And what I can compare this to in my own journey when it comes to marathon training, it's typically that 13.1 miles, so the halfway mark, a half marathon. For me, when I'm training and I get up to that 13.1 miles, I think, man, that was hard. Now, can I turn around and do it again? Can I double this? Right? But for me, once I push through 13.1, the next week I'm going to hit 15. And then I get to 15. I'm like, I can do this. Then the next week I go to 17 and I ratchet it up. And that's when I start to really see the light and I'm in that informed optimism stage. The final piece here, the final of the 5 stages of goal achievement is success and fulfillment. And this is the stage that most people never get to. They will go back to the beginning and reset their goals as opposed to really pushing through and achieving their goals. They'll make excuses for themselves as to why it's okay that they did not actually fulfill and achieve their goal. And in stage 5, success and fulfillment, you've reached your goal. The effort now feels worthwhile and the benefits are fully realized. You experience a sense of fulfillment for all the hard work you put in. Like I said, that is the stage where you have this bliss. You realize that you actually accomplished something. Now, I will say this. I don't want to confuse the matter, but every time that I've gotten to fulfillment and stage 5, especially with a marathon, that bliss is very short-lived. And maybe it's just the way I'm wired, and a lot of other, I see pro athletes, I see successful business people, they get to this stage and they think about what's next, right? What's the next goal they're going to achieve? Or they think about doing it again. I can only imagine like Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, like a Tom Brady or somebody like that. Once they've won the Super Bowl, they're not taking a whole lot of time off. They might be able to relax for a little bit, but then it's right back into stage 1 for them to go back and do it again and or improve what they did the year before. So, as we are entering business planning season, or we're coming to the end of the year, and we get to a point where people are going to start thinking about their 2025, and 2025 is going to be better than 2024, I wanted to share this 5 stages with you. So you know that when you get to these certain stages, it's the natural. This is supposed to happen. When it absolutely is the hardest that it's ever felt, and you feel this despair and think it could never happen, that's when you need to keep your head down, take one step at a time, and go through it, because ultimately that's when you're the closest you've ever been to achieving your goals. So, hope this information is helpful. Off topic, it's not real estate related, but it kind of falls in line with what the name of this podcast is, which is running real estate, running a business, running in general, trying to achieve those goals. So hopefully this information helps you out as well. If you like this information, please share it with a friend, like and subscribe. If you have ideas for future podcasts, please share that with me as well, as I'd be happy to bring you the information that's most relevant to you. Thanks again. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Running Real Estate Podcast.